Well, hello everyone. Entertaining contest in store here at Celtic Park, and there's so much riding on this one today between Celtic and Rangers, the old firm, one of the biggest derbies in all of football, and does it have so much riding on it today? Of course, after Hearts drop points against Motherwell in the SPL, which has been dubbed, by the way, the best title race in all of Europe, and you can understand why. Hearts currently sat on 77 points, Celtic on 73 and Rangers on 69. If Rangers win today, it effectively gives Hearts the title. However, if Celtic pick up a massive 3 points, they go 1 point behind Hearts, who they do still have to play on the last game of the season. They got Motherwell before that, after this game, and then Hearts at Celtic Park on the conclusion of the SPL season. It could be a straight shootout for the league this year. I don't think anyone would have predicted that one, and particularly with Celtic, given the start they had to this season. But Martin O'Neill really has turned it around, and he leads up with his side today. In goal is the Finnish international Sinislo, and it's a back four of Johnston, Austin Trusty, Liam Scales, and the veteran Kieran Tierney now, of course, formerly of Arsenal, over on that left-hand side. 4-2-3-1. Callum McGregor is in front of them with Arnie Engels as well in holding midfield. And then Yang Hun Yun is on towards that right-hand side. Luke McCowan down on the left. And Benjamin Nygren is looking to try and provide Dyson Maida, who does lead the line. 10 goals in the SPL for this season. 33 games. As for Rangers, Danny Roll, who did say just before stepping out today, speaking to the press beforehand, he says these are the games that are really special. It's his 5th Old Firm in just 6 months, and he said every game is intensive, every game has its own story. Of course, when the two sides last met, it did lead to some real troublesome scenes, didn't it, at Ibrox. Celtic winning 4-2 on penalties following a 0-0 draw, later a pitch invasion, and then there was a real security presence now at this game on the effect of that one. Let's quickly run you through Danny Roll's side today. Just 37 years of age, Danny Roll. Here is a stat. He is half the age of his counterpart in the other dugout. Martin O'Neill at 74, Danny Roll at 37. Really does go to show the experience that Martin O'Neill does have. Jack Butland is the man in goal for Rangers today. Back four as well. James Tavernier playing his last ever Old Firm derby. He's been such a good servant, hasn't he, to Rangers, playing over 560 times in Rangers colours. He's certainly been a great servant, scoring over 140 goals. He'd love a goal today, the Rangers skipper. He's part of that back four, starting on that right-hand side with Giga in that right centre-half position. Fernandez, of course, Julio Peterborough on that left centre half, and the Belgian Tlu Romans out towards the left. The two in front of them is Chukwani and Connor Barron on towards the right-hand side with Oliver Antman. The Finnish, of course, looking to try and find a way past his compatriot in that Celtic goal. Mikey Moore, of course, familiar with Tottenham Hotspur fans, out towards the left-hand side. Mohamed Diamande is in attacking midfield. He'll be looking to try and supply. Yusuf Chermiti leading the line for Rangers today. It's quite a nice sunny day here in Scotland. You don't often get that. It's usually quite shitty conditions, but it's quite nice across the UK at the moment. And, there's quite a few short sleeves. Basically, everybody's in short sleeves here today for this contest. Our referee, just to remind you as well, is Nick Walsh. As his assistant over towards that far side. There's Frank Connor, Daniel McFarlane, and the fourth official is Matthew McDermott. Let's quickly run you through the benches as well. Kelechi Iheanacho, there's some real Premier League talent, former Premier League talent, of course, on that Celtic batch. Kelechi Iheanacho, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain as well. Wouldn't be surprised if we see his introduction at some point today. James Forrest as well over towards that Rangers bench, and familiar with Norwich City supporters, Max Aarons is on the bench for them today as well. Should they be looking towards some more attacking options? Skov Olsen, who is on loan. Really do like Skov Olsen. Wouldn't be surprised if we do see him come on at some point today. Rangers, who do enter this contest on a bit of bad form, it would have to be said, losing to Hearts in their last game a week ago 2-1, and losing to Motherwell before that 3-2, who are really proving to cause a few upsets throughout this Top 6 are Motherwell. They're in them Europa Conference League qualification places, 4 points above Hibernian. You really think Motherwell are going to make it now. And Falkirk completing the rest of the bottom of the top 6. Let's say Motherwell's who next game is against Celtic, of course, after this one. Then Hibernian on the final day. It could be a straight shootout, really, for who gets that Conference League qualification spot. Our attention, though, firmly. Here is at Celtic Park as the Celtic fans sing out "You'll Never Walk Alone" in their full voices, in the green and white scarves, making their voices be heard. They know how big this game is. Just to remind you of the context of this fixture, should Celtic pick up all 3 points, they'll go 1 point behind Hearts. And of course, what that means now is Hearts have to win their remaining 2 contests. Of course, their first game before they face Celtic in the conclusion is against Falkirk. You'd fancy them to win that. Falkirk, who sit at 6th, bottom of the top 6. They've had a great campaign, by the way, Falkirk, coming up from the Scottish Championship. Really solid campaign there. You'd fancy Hearts to win it, that one, though. Celtic, of course, who do end up going up against Motherwell, they'd have to win that game. But their big task in front of them now is finding a way past Rangers, who would love to upset the Celtic party and also potentially just give themselves a late little surge maybe for the Scottish Prem title. It'll be a big ask, but never say never, as we are underway here with Rangers kicking us off, going from right to left then in this first half in the lovely sunny conditions here at Celtic Park, as Jack Butland does pump one long towards where Tavernier is, immediately trying to get himself in behind, slightly overhit there though from Englishman to Englishman in behind for a Celtic goal kick. Just joining us, listening to live audio coverage of the Old Firm. Celtic against Rangers, as Celtic looking to try and play their way out from the back. Everyone loves to play out their way from the back these days, as Sinislau slightly overhitting his path, but it does work out fortuitously for another Celtic goal kick. I love to be in Danny Rowell's head right now in terms of what he is thinking, because he's certainly going with an aggressive press from his side. They're trying to take a man-to-man approach. It's worked out fortuitously so far, but just a slight little missed touch there in the middle of the park by Connor Barron. That's giving Kieran Tierney a little bit of room to go and drive into on that left-hand side. Stopped over here by Tavernier. Rolls it back instead towards where Callum McGregor is, playing in that left-holding midfield position. Liam Scales now alongside Austin Trusty again today, and to have really been quite an illustrious pair in the centre-half partnerships. When we think back towards Celtic's Europa League campaign this season, they certainly had some memorable times in their centre-half positions. I remember a fixture against Bologna and they were really solid, and I think Austin Trusty even got a goal in that contest. Hyun Young Yang now over towards his right-hand side, looking to try and keep it in play, but some really good pressing over there on that left-hand side by Romens and Mikey Moore. Over here for a Rangers roll on that left-hand side, right in front of where Danny Rowell's dugout is, looking to try and work his way forward and get some early touches on the ball is the Dane Chukwueze. 12 appearances so far for him this season in the SPL, 23 years of age, certainly a player coming through the ranks. Here is Maida now getting his first touch of the game, as the Japanese coming a little bit deeper, starting up top for Celtic today. See how much he tries to get involved. Certainly a player that loves to spin in behind, doesn't he? And wouldn't be surprised if Nasser Giga and also Manuel Fernandez will be chasing shadows at some point, potentially of Maida. Now advancing forward is Diamande, trying to pick out Atman, about 35 yards from that Celtic goal, but Celtic do come away with the ball, and here is Maida, driving forward on this left-hand side, cutting inside quite nicely on that right foot of his, rolling it in towards the middle of the park, where Benjamin Nygren has a nice bit of room to ride into, forward towards Maida now, and it's just eventually Jack Butland can gather. He had to have a couple of goes at it, the former Stoke City goalkeeper. It was cheaply given away in the middle of the park by Chukwueze. Maida came driving forward. He rolled it in towards where the attacking midfielder came driving forward of Engels, actually. They got the shot away. The holding midfielder, sorry. Engels going for one from distance. And Butland saw it quite late. It wasn't the most convincing of saves, but he did enough in the end. And was able to keep the scoreline at 0-0. 3 minutes played, and no surprise at all. This game has started at a million miles an hour. Here is Butland now getting pressed by Maida, and all Butland can do is smash it in towards the stands, and he is furious towards his teammates. He wanted a little bit more from them there. because they didn't really give him any kind of option for playing out from the back. As now Celtic looking to try and drive forward. There's complaints for a foul on the edge of the penalty area, but Nick Walsh is not interested. And they've got a nice bit of space here for Mikey Moore to go driving into. More one-on-one against Liam Scales, trying to roll through one in behind here towards Diamande. Oh, just wide of the post. He was just trying to set himself up. Chumiti took over, just trying to guide it in towards that bottom left corner. And he just dragged his effort wide in the end. It was an easy one for Sinislow to see that one in behind. Again, now Celtic already trying to turn defence in towards attack. This game is really, really moving forward at such a quick pace here. Luke McCowan now over towards this left-hand side, looking to try and cut inside on that right foot of his, as McGregor feels he has been bundled over there by Diamande and has been given by our referee man in the middle, and Celtic can slow possession down just momentarily. I mean, we've only played 5 minutes, but it feels like we've played a good 85 odd minutes. There's certainly been a lot of energy around this place, and to no surprise at all with this kind of old firm and with how much riding on it as well. Back here with Liam Scales in the middle of the park, trying to roll forward here towards where Kian Young starting on that left-hand side. Luke McCowan's come out towards the right flank and towards where Jaguani can try and play one out from the back. But again, little mix-up there by Giga, trying to roll one forward on this right-hand side. He can only put it in towards the touch for a Celtic throw-on right in front of their noisy home supporters. Back here with Kieran Tierney, was running towards that penalty area all the way through. Trying to pick it up here is Anna Engels. Does quite successfully here, does Johnston. Alistair Johnston does really, really well. Maida letting this one run, but there is Giga to go and clear. And Celtic can regroup just on the halfway line. A little bit further back here with Sinislow in goal. Quite interestingly here, Luke McCowan. We expected him to start on the left-hand side. He's just moved over towards the right. Xunyun Yang is now on towards that left-hand flank. Slight little bit of a change to what we initially anticipated. Here is Callum McGregor now on this left-hand side, looking to try and keep possession moving quite successfully. Here is McGregor. Chance here for Xunyun Yang, just looking to try and turn. Yun Yang again, 25 yards from goal. Oh, he goes in heavy, Yun Yang there. Referee spotted it. Happy to let play continue. Celtic trying to regroup. It's got a little bit pinball-like, just about 40 yards from that Rangers goal. Trying to take over here is Chimiti, holding up the field of play quite nicely, but that's a great defending there by Callum McGregor right in front of them Celtic supporters, who are all standing on their feet, waving their arms in the air in approval towards their captain's challenge. Really good play there by Callum McGregor. Just got his body between the Portuguese of Yusuf Chimiti, just to win possession back and hold it up quite nicely and get Celtic moving forward. It's a long ball played forward in the end, but Rangers immediately back in possession in their usual blue strip as well. Rangers in their blue, white and black socks, and Celtic in their usual green and white strip. Some clever play there though by Callum McGregor, but there is a free kick here as Anna Engels goes in a little bit too aggressively over towards where Jiba can go and take this resulting free kick here for Rangers. From Burkina Faso, back here with Jack Butler once again and Giga once more. Both these sides are so keen to sprint at one another. No side is looking to try and sit in, trying to take the game to one another. Scales has this ball forward. Looks like it was a little handball there by the Irishman, not been given by Nick Walsh, the man in the middle of the park. There's another strong challenge coming in from Chimiti. And this time it is going to be a free kick going in Celtic's favour, just on the halfway line, just to seem to barge Anna Engels in the back of the head, and the way his head jolted looked like it was a little bit painful there for the Belgian, but he just stayed on his feet, happy to continue. Celtic moving forward immediately on this left hand side. Poor ball in though. Jack Butland can gather. 7 minutes played. What a start we've had. 0-0 doesn't do it justice. Celtic 0, Rangers 0 in the Old Firm. Just to remind you, Celtic need to win to go within 1 point of Hearts with 2 games to go in the SPL this season. Free kick Rangers about 30 yards from their own goal. Happy to try and play out from the back here with Conor Barron. Such a big day, isn't it, for both these sides, but it's also a big day for the man in the middle, Nick Walsh. Such big responsibility on him just to try and keep a lid over this contest and keep things under control. He's happy to let a few things go, and he's not putting his cards in his pocket. Cards out of his pocket just yet. He's keeping his cards firmly in his pocket. He's been blown up for a few free kicks. We've just got another one here. Roman's trying to drive forward, and Alistair Johnston just bringing down the Belgian. He's having a little word with the Canadian here, is Nick Walsh, and he's explaining, if you do a few more of that, I will be happy to go towards my cards, but he's happy to keep them in his pocket. But to be honest, I think that's exactly the way to officiate this kind of fixture. you know, when there's so many challenges going flying in, you're inevitably going to have to blow up for quite a few fouls. And if you set a precedent early where you're dishing out yellow cards like they're going out of fashion, then you're gonna run the risk, aren't you, of everybody picking up yellow cards, and then it starts to boil over. I think he's officiating it very well so far, letting quite a few things go, but when he feels necessary, blowing up quite successfully. Here is Austin Trusty then, trying to move this ball forward on this right-hand side, over towards Johnston, playing this one down the line towards Luke McCowan, who holds up the field of play quite nicely. Johnston feels he has been bonded over, so does McCowan, but it's not been given. Here goes Chimeti, looking to try and find some room for the strike. Chimeti, eventually forward towards more! 1-0 Rangers! It was not the prettiest of goals, and Celtic are playing for a free kick. It's not been given. And Mikey Moore over on this left-hand side has given Rangers the advantage in this contest. And then away supporters screaming towards this far side. It was not a pretty goal at all. Alistair Johnston thought he was fouled over towards this right-hand flank. He tried to come driving forward, and there was a couple of complaints for a foul. Also on Luke McCowan. Martin O'Neill was immediately over just to try and compose this side. McCowan looked like he slipped, and so did Johnson. Looked like he was fouled initially. McCowan again looks towards the referee complaining. Chimiti came driving forward, and he tried to go from about 15 yards out and poke it through the legs of Liam Scales. It took a real nasty ricochet off the Irishman and fell straight towards Mikey Moore. But from that ricochet, Sidderslow in goal had absolutely no chance because of the deflection, and the near post was completely open. The finish had no time to get there at all, and Mikey Moore was there to come and arrive, and he was all of 5 yards out. Easiest of tap-ins in the end for the Englishman. His 7th goal in this campaign. And it's a big one as well. It's given Rangers the lead. 10 minutes played here. Celtic 0, Rangers 1. Huge goal in the context of things, and it goes the way of Mikey Moore. Celtic need to find a response as Maida is already in behind here, about 18 yards from goal, straight in towards that penalty area, cleared away by Conor Barron, out for a Celtic throw-on. And again, the Celtic Park atmosphere continues to come and gather. But what a start that is for Rangers, and Mikey Moore, credit to him, because he stuck with his centre forward and was ready for it. I mean, it was lucky in the way in terms of how it ricocheted, but he's got to be there. He's got to be in that position to tap home from close range. So credit to him, and he gives Rangers the lead in this contest. Again, Celtic feel there should be a free kick, this time right on the edge of Rangers' penalty area. Play does continue on that right-hand side, and it's a strong challenge from Tur Romans. He left everything in that one. It goes out for a Celtic throw on that right-hand side. Johnston over to come and take this one. Eyeing up the long throw potentially. He goes short instead. Back towards Johnston once more. Eyes in for a crossing towards that penalty area from McCowan. Right towards the far post. Oh, and it was nearly arriving. There was Yun Yang. But Tavernier did enough just to see that one in behind for a Rangers goal kick. And we can slow the pace of play down here just for a moment. Jack Butland happy to take his time now over this one. If you're just joining us, listening to live audio coverage of the Old Firm between Celtic and Rangers have taken the lead just moments ago with Mikey Moore pouncing on a deflected effort from Chimiti to finish from close range and give Rangers the advantage in the early stages of this contest. Tavernier now deep on this right-hand side inside of Celtic's half. Go back instead towards where Nasser Jiga is, and they're really moving the ball around here really nicely, our Rangers, and they've got numbers over here if they can pick out Tavernier inside of the penalty area. Couldn't quite do so there just for the moment as Conor Barron just getting the ball stuck in his feet. He was a little bit unsure whether to come or go there was Barron, and Oliver Antman as well, and eventually Rangers give a throw on now deep on that left-hand side. So what this does mean here for the Scottish Prem, there'll be a lot of Hearts fans over there cheering that goal. So Rangers move on to 72 points, Celtic on 73, and Hearts on 77. So Rangers, of course, if they win their last 2 games, they can technically still win the SPL, but they do require Celtic and Hearts to lose all of theirs, or potentially Celtic can draw one of theirs. But you know, it's essentially too far, you'd feel, for Rangers. However, what this does mean is it essentially hands Hearts the title, so they will know if they do beat Falkirk, which you'd fancy them to do, they will go to Celtic Park already the champions, courtesy of Rangers. They'd love to upset the Celtic party. Here goes Tavernier now, trying to flick one in towards where Chimiti taking it down quite nicely. Chimiti, oh, great save, full on the edge of the penalty area. Oh, what a block that is by Liam Scales. It was a handball anyways. It fell on the edge of the penalty area towards Mikey Moore, who nearly got his second goal of the game. Tavernier floated it in towards Chimiti. He brought it down with his chest, but he also flicked it with his left hand. So eventually the referee did give the free kick for the handball. He's got it absolutely spot on there, the referee. Chimiti nearly getting himself in towards a position where he was able to make it 2-0. It was a good save initially by Sinislow. Fell towards Mikey Moore on the edge of the penalty area. He tried to guide it towards the bottom right corner. Scales cleared it off the line. Wouldn't have counted anyways. However, again, another warning sign going Celtic's way. They just won the ball over the top there by James Tavernier. Completely undone the Celtic defence. Unfortunately for them, a handball by Yusuf Chimiti denied Rangers potentially from getting a corner in the end because of the heroics from Liam Scales. As again they're moving forward, they're certainly the better side at the two so far. Chimiti, lovely switch of play towards Tavernier, who's got all of Celtic Park in front of him. No one's near Tavernier. Eventually Kieran Tierney does go and get the block in, but Tavernier, if he just went a little bit quicker there, Tavernier again whipping one towards that penalty area. Away by Austin Trusty, picked up here once more by Maida, but taken over instead in the middle of the park by Emmanuel Fernandez. And Celtic are not finding their feet here at the moment. Rangers have all the momentum and they can feed it too. They're desperate to try and get a second goal in this contest. Is Danny Roll's side. Here with Giga once again over towards that right centre half position. Goes short instead towards Connor Barron, switching on towards this left hand flank with Emmanuel Fernandez. The youngster looking to try and move this ball forward. Tavernier again is in absolutely acres of space. Long ball forward towards Chimiti, who's causing so many problems. It's Chimiti once more falling on towards the edge of the penalty areas. Tavernier makes the overlapping run back here with Chukwani now 35 yards from that Celtic goal. Barron once more here with James Tavernier, has been forced wide on towards that right hand side, wins the corner instead towards these nervous Celtic supporters over towards this right hand flank. Austin Trusty and Liam Scales cannot deal with the heavy presence that Yusuf Chimiti is putting on them. Simple balls forward that are being floated in towards the middle of the park is always being won by the Portuguese, because both these centre halves are scared. They don't want to get close to him, because not only is he better with his feet, he's also more physical than both centre halves, and he is bullying them at the moment. They've got to try and raise their levels a bit, that we've seen them do throughout this campaign this season. Rangers resulting corner then to the Romans has come over to take this one. The left-footed left back ready to put in this in-swinging delivery towards that penalty area. Romans ball does go in. Oh, and it was met there as well by Emmanuel Fernandez, who just lost it. He just lost the sight of the ball, and it was such a simple chance. It should be Rangers 2-0. Fernandez, who lost his man, and he had so much space and time, and he just he doesn't even head it properly. He just comes off his left shoulder. He's all of 6 yards out, less than that, and really should convert from there. Oh, and in behind now is Maida, and really it should be a free kick, you'd feel. Eyes towards Nick Walsh, the referee. I don't think he's given it. It was a little ball played in behind towards the Japanese. It looked like he just bundled over. That's a Giga. It should have been a free kick. Maida tried to open out his body. He just dragged his effort wide. Lovely ball played forward in the end by Yun Yang. Straight up the other end of the pitch right away from the corner. Martin O'Neill can't believe it. I don't think the referee gave it. Nick Walsh didn't give it. That was just... A, that's a really poor decision there by Nick Walsh. It was a free kick all day. B, what a chance for Maida. Best chance of the game for Celtic so far. This game should be 4 or 5 goals so far. We've only had the one. And Celtic again putting on their pressure. Here goes McGregor. He's got his Scottish teammate towards his left-hand side of Kieran Tierney. Back towards McGregor once more. Here is Liam Scales looking to try and play this ball on this left-hand side, cushioning it down towards where Kieran Tierney is. Picked up here by Engels, trying to flick one forward towards the incoming run of Benjamin Nygren, who we've barely seen so far in this contest. Free kick here now for Celtic, though. Going in a little bit too aggressively was Diamande, taken short instead. They should have whipped one in towards that penalty. That's a poor bit of play there by Celtic. They've gone short with the free kick quite quickly towards where the South Korean Yun Yang can go and take over. Hyun Yun Yang, and he gets dispossessed there by James Tavernier, and a little deflection there off of the South Korean, and does result in the end for a Rangers throw on this right-hand side. They didn't need to do that. They should have taken their time, float one in towards the penalty area, in my opinion, but wanted to go quickly, giving away possession cheaply. Tavernier now pumping this ball forward as Trusty does win the loose ball. Looking to try and pick up the second ball here is Luke McCowan, who again feels he has been fouled in the middle of the park by Chukwani. Doesn't get given. Instead, Rangers can come getting a little bit more defensive work to do, but they can come driving forward now here with Chukwani trying to play a little reversal ball. Does break here towards Romans, back towards where Diamande can take over deep inside of Rangers half. Chukwani now trying to play this ball forward. Rangers throw on this left-hand side deep inside of their own defensive third. Nearly 20 minutes played here at Celtic Park. Still Celtic 0, Rangers 1. Mikey Moore with the opening goal of the contest. Fabulous finish as well it was by Mikey Moore, just from close range, but you've got to give him credit. It was quite lucky how it ricocheted to him, but he did really, really well to be in that position to convert from close range. Here is Scales now winning the initial header, trying to keep the play alive here on this right-hand side as McCowan does result in a Rangers throw on that left-hand side. There's certainly been quite a few old firms in recent months. Of course, that last one resulting in Celtic winning on penalties at Ibrox after a 0-0 draw. They drew in the Scottish Premiership at Ibrox again. It was 2-2 in the end in that contest, and the one before that resulted in a Rangers win back in January. It was 3-1 in the end for the away side on that contest. Celtic at Celtic Park, Celtic 1, Rangers 3. That was on January 3. And we just had our first yellow card of the game. Schmidt going in a little bit too aggressively over there on Arne Engels, and our referee Nick Walsh deeming that the Portuguese has to go into the book. Yellow card there for Yusuf Schmidt, first one given of the game. Well, it was kind of justified. He's gone in really, really late there, and again there's a free kick over here on this right hand side in Rangers' advantage. I mean, there was absolutely nothing going on. Celtic were happy to retain possession just inside of their back four. There was a slight coming together involving Chukwani over on that right-hand side, and Engels as well, and the referee had a really good view of it. He saw the challenge coming in from the Belgian, going in on the Dane, and free kick was given, cheap free kick to give away there by Arne Engels, as Celtic looking to try and build their way up from the back, and all it's done is result in a Rangers free kick with Butland ready to come over and take this one and pump one forward here for Rangers. No need really for Arne Engels to do that at the age of 22. I understand that he's getting a little bit frustrated, but maybe there was a little bit of a young naivety that was creeping in there. Back here with Trusty's taking way too long there. Trusty gets away with it instead, but some really good defensive play once again by Chukwani. Feels he has been fouled on this left-hand side. Again, the referee does blow up, and Celtic need to stop leaving their foot in on things for really unnecessary purposes. There was Luke McCowan this time, again going in on Chukwani, who is being the recipient of numerous fouls at the minute. As Rangers again with another opportunity to play out from the back a bit higher up the field of play this time. Back here with Connor Barron. Happy to drop a little bit deeper here is Connor Barron to try and get Rangers moving up the field of play. There's a lovely little reversal ball there by Chukwani, but it's a good interception in the end by Scales as Tavernier goes steaming in. Celtic looking to try and drive forward here with the oncoming run of Benjamin Nygren. Does so successfully, does the Swede. Here is Alistair Johnston promising here for Celtic. 25 yards from goal. Johnston trying to get towards the byline. Couldn't quite be picked up here by McCowan. The Scotsman just trying to find where McGregor can roll it on towards this left-hand side. Tierney looking to float one in towards that penalty area. Delicious ball as well. And it should have been met better by Benjamin Nygren. He felt he was fouled, was the Swede. But there was not much contact in it in the end. McGregor rolling out towards Tierney. Clever play by Kieran Tierney, just set up like he was going to put in some in-swinging delivery, just clipped it in the end. Nygren with a bit of space to try and get his header goalwards, but again didn't quite get the contact that he wanted on it, just deflected off of his shoulder, which we just saw up the other end from Emmanuel Fernandez. Really, I mean, you've got to feel that he's got to do a little bit better there for me in front of goal. I mean, he's only 6-7 yards out. He's got to try and convert it in towards at least make Butler make a save. That's how I think with that one. Here goes Trusty now as Celtic looking to try and turn the momentum in their favour. Once again here on this right-hand side with Luke McCowan. Lovely reversal ball. Promising here for Celtic. Goal for Celtic as well. It's Hyun Ying Yang on the edge of the penalty area. Just on the penalty box, sorry. To convert home. And Celtic having a small spell of momentum and turning it into goals. And it's goals as well for Celtic. 23 minutes played. It's Celtic 1, Rangers 1. Really clever movement here by the South Korean. Just works it on towards this right-hand side where Luke McCowan plays a lovely little reversal ball. And it's a great little pass in there instead towards where Hyun Ying Yang made a move on towards the penalty area. Arne Engels made a great underlapping run. And the Belgian took his time, got his head up, put it right across in towards that penalty spot, and the South Korean comes moving forward. First time finish with that right foot of his, straight in towards where Butland's got no chance in that Rangers goal. And immediately, his reaction tells a story. Pick up the ball. Let's get back to the centre circle. We've got some work to do here. Now the referee actually has spotted something. He's having a word with Callum McGregor and James Tavernier, both captains for these two sides, explaining that he wants things calmed down a little bit. Nevertheless, 8th goal for Hyun Yang. It's a great play there by Erna Engel, straight in towards that penalty area. There is a small complaint actually here for offside. I mean, it's a great little ball in by Erna Engels and a great finish by Hyun Yang. And there was a couple of men, and in fact, Benjamin Nygren was right in the face of Jack Butland. So this is going to be a shit over, but a goal has been given and goes in Celtic's advantage. Celtic 1, Rangers 1. They were just making sure, weren't they, that that goal was all good, and it is all good. And for Celtic, that is a huge goal in the context of things. It very much keeps them in this contest. Because they did run the risk at one point where Rangers were going to start to run away with it. They started to pepper that Celtic goal. Or VAR John Beaton just went over and checked it. He didn't feel that the interference there from Benjamin Nygren was enough to put off Jack Butland. I can completely agree actually with the VAR John Beaton. That's a really sensible decision what he has given there, because there was a small little potential that he was influencing Jack Butland. But for me, Danny Roll does complain. For me, he's not going to get there. He's not going to get there anyways. So the interference, it's minor as well. It's one of them. You could argue it in the Rangers' favour where he is stood in the offside position, minorly in the eye line of Jack Butland. But he's not. The Englishman isn't going to get there anyways. So for me, I think the VAR have got that absolutely spot on. Celtic 1, Rangers 1. Game does continue. Over here on this right-hand side, with James Tavernier rolling this back towards where Barron is. Barron again taking over in the middle of the park. Strong challenge coming in there from McGregor, and Barron feeling the effects of that one from the Scotsman. Back to his feet though already, and happy to try and continue. 20 minutes to play of this first half. Thoroughly entertaining first half. I hope you are enjoying this one. I certainly am. Goals so far from Mikey Moore, opening up the scoring in the opening 10 minutes of this contest. Really nice finish from the Englishman, just pouncing on a little ricochet to convert home from close range. And as you just heard, Hyun Yang putting things back on level terms. Nice finish from him as well. Johnson tries to get himself involved on that right-hand side. There is Diamande doing his little bit of defensive work. It was a good play there by Diamande, who is having to do quite a little bit in the deeper part of the field compared to what he would want to do further up. Here is Diamande now, able to go driving forward. Little switcher plough towards this right-hand side where Antman can't quite get there. Was slightly overhit towards the Finn, who didn't really have too much of a chance of keeping that one in play. I can understand why Diamande wants to try and get play moving on that right-hand side. It's where Rangers are having arguably their most success so far in the opening 26 minutes of this contest, but he slightly overhit his pass to the Ivorian, and as a result in a Celtic throw over on this left-hand side where Giga can win the initial header. As Tavernier putting a little bit of pressure on Celtic goal scorer Hyun Yang. There's a switcher play out towards his right-hand side. Maida trying to put a little bit of pressure here on Romans. He leaves his foot in there, does Romans. He does really, really well. The Belgian now able to drive forward. He's got Mikey Moore towards his left-hand side. Moore with so much space and time. Moore across the face of goal. Oh, Scales. Great defending there by the Irishman. Just got right in front of Yusuf Chimiti and was able to put it behind for a Rangers corner. But he had to just show an extra yard there. And he was really, really clever defending because he's checked his left shoulder just to recognise the run that Chimiti was trying to make, and he just got in front of his man and was able to clear as well. But it was clever how he just checked his left shoulder, realised the run that the Portuguese was trying to make, put himself in a position where he can't put any kind of influence on the ball, and then was able to do his defensive work as well. Clever defending, doing two jobs there in one go. Really, really good play by the 27-year-old. However, he has some more bits of work to do here with this resulting corner. As Nick Walsh is right inside the referee. He wasn't too happy with something that was happening in the 6-yard box. Whipped in delivery now, headed away momentarily and cleared once more by McGregor. Trying to pick here by Mikey Moore. Moore trying to bring this one down. He's not doing it. That's not the smart play there by Mikey Moore. Trying to dribble through about 4 or 5 green and white shirts. And now Celtic can move forward here on the counter-attack. Really promising here for Celtic if they can just play their cards right. But eventually Some really good defensive play there by Chukwani, able to get himself back and make the interception, and really should have done better there was Luke McCowan, who just came driving forward on this right-hand side. Again, there's a strong challenge coming in on Chukwani, but Rangers happy to try and play advantage as they're driving forward here with Diamande once again. He wants a little ball inside of the centre of the park. It wasn't on. Goes back instead towards Chukwani, and Rangers back in possession. They should have punished him there, Celtic. It was 4-on-2. But Chukwani just did enough just to get his defence, just to get himself back. Great little interception there on Luke McCowan to deny Celtic going on any more. Credit to him, because that was really promising there for Celtic. Driving forward now towards where Mikey Moore makes a little run in behind. Hope for ball towards Mikey Moore, who it was his mistake actually, which led to Celtic having the counter attack. There was a little moment where he could potentially set himself up and go for a volley from distance. Instead, he tries to bring the ball down. There are times and places where you've got to bring the ball down on the edge of the penalty area. That wasn't one of them, because he had 4 green and white shirts sprinting towards him, and any one of them was going to get the interception. Eventually they did. Rangers got away with one there, and for Mikey Moore's sake, he would be very, very pleased about that. Here is Austin Trusty then, about 35 yards from that Rangers goal. Moves on towards his right-hand side with Johnston. Bit of room for the Canadian to move into. McCowan does take over. Again, 30 yards from that Rangers goal. Back towards Trusty. Rangers with all 11 men behind the ball. Here goes Scales now, looking for any kind of option towards the penalty area. Taking over here is Hyun Yang, whipping one in towards that penalty area. Headed away momentarily. Picked up here once more as McGregor tries to turn and get the shot away. It was easy in the end for Jack Butland. It was Benjamin Nygren, that was trying to turn. The Swede has struggled to get involved so far in this game. We know how good he has been for Celtic this season. 15 goals for them. He's just struggled really to try and make some kind of influence. 15 goals in the SPL, that is. 4 goals in the Europa League as well. But just struggled to try and influence things, let's say. Because every single time he tries to turn, there's always a Rangers shirt in there. And it's all been coming down the wide areas. So him in that central attacking midfield position. It's the same with Diamande, because both sets of plays have really been coming down the flanks. Even moving here as Sinislow does pump this ball forward. He just couldn't quite pick out his man. But again, it's all coming down the wings. The wings is where the success is for both these sides. And for poor Mohamed Diamande and Benjamin Nygren, not getting involved just as much. Half an hour played then here at Celtic Park in the Old Firm. Celtic 1, Rangers 1. Mikey Moore with the opening goal of the game, answered back by Hyun Yang, getting his 8th goal in this SPL season. He's back here with Trusty once again. He's got Scales towards his left-hand side. Let's pick out the Irishman, and the energy levels have just dropped a little bit compared to what we had in the opening 5 minutes, as we expected, with all the fans very much on their feet, rallying on their sides. It started to get a little bit stop-start. There's just a free kick there once again for Rangers inside of their own half. There's a slight little foul there by Hyun Yang, but it's not got the quite same intensity that we had in the opening 5-10 minutes, which is understandable, because if these two sides were able to keep up that intensity for 90 minutes, then I'd eventually lose my voice by about minute 70 because of how much acceleration we're playing with here. Hyun Yang now trying to move forward on this left-hand side, tapping into there, go and intervene. Back towards Butland, pumping this ball forward on that right-hand side. It's a good interception though by Kieran Tierney. Here is Diamande, keen to try and get Rangers moving forward. Puroma's now trying to get Mikey Moore involved. Moore is struggling after that goal, because he's just being man-marked here by Alistair Johnston. It's obviously a message here by Martin O'Neill, because Johnston is not giving Mikey Moore any kind of time and space. They are constantly up against each other. If it's not Mikey Moore, it's Arne Engels, and both of them are man-marking Mikey Moore, trying to keep him out of the contest. They're doing quite well since that goal. Of course, he does have a goal towards his name in the opening 9 minutes of this contest, which you'd argue isn't really their fault. It was just a lucky ricochet that fell towards Mikey Moore, who finished well. Beyond that, they've been able to contain him. They've been able to stop him from driving forward. And, Rangers have only registered 1 shot on target in this contest. And Mikey Moore is having an okay game, but they're starting to improve that Celtic backline. They did say earlier as well, Austin Trusty and Liam Scales, they had to improve against Yusuf Chimiti. They have done. Chimity, we haven't seen too much over the last 20 minutes or so since when that Rangers momentum started to die down. Here is Trusty on the halfway line now for Celtic. Plays out towards where Johnson is on that right-hand side. McCowan does take over. Luke McCowan now back towards where Trusty is again. Rangers with all 11 men behind the ball inside of their own half. Everybody inside of their own half, apart from Sinislow in the Celtic go. Here goes Scales once again, trying to chip one in behind. Good interception, though, by Connor Barron. Picked up here once again by Sochi Chikwani, who's been heavily involved for Rangers so far in this contest, and he's having a really positive game as the 23-year-old, showing a lot more experience beyond his years in the middle of the park with the way he's keeping the ball possession, keeping the ball very nicely in the middle of the park, and also with the way he's drawing fouls. He's making sure that any single time he could potentially lose the ball, he doesn't do so. He buys a free kick and he keeps Rangers possession quite nicely. Now driving forward here on this right-hand side is Chimity, and he really fancies this one against Kieran Tierney, but the Scotsman matching him stride for stride, putting it in behind for a Rangers throw, but it's really good play there by Kieran Tierney, just showing 28 years of age, driving forward with all the pace that he's got there against Yusuf Chimity. He was only 21. They did call Kieran Tierney. I feel a bit bad for him. Called him a veteran earlier. I don't know as well. In terms of, because he came through at such a young age, didn't he, Kieran Tierney? You do feel that he's older beyond his years. He's certainly a player that's had success, hasn't he, when he was during Arsenal, during his old Arsenal time, and Real Sociedad as well, success in that first team. Getting plenty of appearances under his belt. Here goes Tavernier, long throw in towards that penalty area. Scales does head it away momentarily. Tierney now trying to go in aggressively. There may be a little VAR check here for a penalty. Chimity does pick up the loose ball. Chimity once again on that right-hand side. Again, VAR are checking this. Barron's ball in towards the penalty area. Look, complaints for a free kick going Celtic's way has been given. Now the VAR will check this one. It was an aggressive challenge from Kieran Tierney on a Diamande. Just to remind you, our VAR is John Beaton. He will be checking this. Diamande went up for the header, and it was Hunyun Yang, that went so aggressively in there on a Diamande, and you could just tell them Celtic supporters, it hasn't actually been given by our referee and been chalked off, but the Celtic supporters behind the goal gave the whole reaction to it. Quite a few of them put their hands to their head, and you could see a few of them just making the expression going, oh, they could tell Shin Yun Yang making that kind of challenge in that position was risky. He gets away with it, though. Maybe on another day that could have potentially been given for a penalty. Maybe it would have been a bit harsh, but the way he went in, it was aggressive. It was fair enough, deeming our VAR team. Here is Diamande once again in the middle of the park. There's some good space here for Rangers, if they can come driving forward with some real tenacity now, with Tavernier on this right-hand side. Moving on towards Oliver Antman. It's a really poor ball, though, there by Tavernier, and it gives Tierney the opportunity to go steaming in, and does meet the intervention out for a Rangers throw on this right-hand side. Tavernier just saying what he wanted there from Oliver Antman. Wanted him to make a little aggressive run forward. Couldn't quite do so. There's Tavernier over to come and take the throw on, making his 34th appearance in the Scottish Prem this season at the age of 34. Just a reminder, it is his last Old Firm derby. Of course, he is leaving Rangers at the end of this season. Tavernier's ball in towards that penalty area. Oh, it's a little ricochet, which nearly resulted in Rangers' favour. Little flicked on header, which was a Celtic head in there in the end. Alistair Johnson was able to go and clear, just trying to clear their lines. I think it was Erna Engels inside of the penalty. It was Alistair Johnson, it was quite a real mix-up. So many green and white shirts in there as coming over to take this resulting corner from the other side for the first time in this game is James Tavernier. In swinging delivery once again from the Englishman. It was a nice long throw in towards that penalty area, and Celtic, you've got to say, getting away with one. They've still got some more defensive work to do. They've got to make sure Emmanuel Fernandez is well marked, as Tavernier's ball does come in. It's a poor ball there by Tavernier. It's well over hit, and there's no chance anybody in Rangers could even keep it in play. And it will be a Celtic goal kick. Emmanuel Fernandez, who has proved to be a bit of a goal threat for Rangers coming up from set pieces this season. 5 goals in the SPL throughout this campaign for the young 24-year-old. This ball played down the middle of the park towards where Maida can keep it in play. It's really good play there by Maida, holding up possession quite nicely. As there's a good interception once more. Just coming over was Tavernier to do his defensive work. His eye towards his centre half. You've got to do that covering work, which I've just done there. Celtic throw on over towards this right-hand side, about 40-45 yards from that Jack Butland goal. 7-8 minutes to play of this first half. Thoroughly entertaining first half, to no one's surprise at all. We're still level between Celtic and Rangers. Goals from Mikey Moore and Kyun Yang. We'll give you a full recap of how this first half has panned out at the conclusion of this opening 45 minutes. Here with Liam Scales once again on towards this left-hand side with McGregor, who we haven't seen too much of, you have to say, throughout this first half. Here is Tierney, though. Good play there by the Scotsman just to skip past the challenger of Oliver Antman, eventually work his way in towards where he could put a cross in towards that penalty area. Tavernier was there to go and put in the block in. As Kieran Tierney has come over once more to take the resulting throw on. It is Tierney this one towards that penalty area, handed away instead by Emmanuel Fernandez, picked up here by Diamande, just trying to hold up the loose ball after Chimiti flicked it on towards him, and again they've worked it well towards Mikey Moore. Moore does give away possession, he feels he has been fouled. Aggressive challenge in there by Johnston, and there's a yellow card being dished out here now towards Alistair Johnston, as he thought about it, the referee. Eventually Johnston does get given the caution. The Canadian is really confused because Nick Walsh, the official, took his time over it. It was a bizarre way to dish out a yellow card, because initially the challenge did come in. I mean, Diamande flicked it onwards towards where Chukwani just helped it on its way. Mikey Moore eventually, if that's given as a yellow card, I'm absolutely shocked. I mean, Johnson's gone in, he's won the ball, he's won it a little bit aggressively. For me, it shouldn't even be a foul. He's gone in, he's made the ball, and Mikey Moore's gone over, and Johnson, maybe I don't know if he's even left his foot in a bit. Mikey Moore is complaining. I think he has left his foot in, which is why he has got the yellow card. I'd argue it's a bit harsh, and I mean the referee, I think the fourth fish over towards that far side. Certainly Nick Walsh wasn't going to give the yellow card, and then there was a little word in his ear maybe, or maybe he had a bit of time to think about it. Eventually he does dish out the yellow card, our second yellow card of the game, and our first yellow card being dished away of a man in green and white. Alistair Johnston, the Canadian, going into Nick Walsh's book. 5 minutes to play then of this first half, plus any stoppage time. I imagine we'll probably get maybe 2 minutes of stoppage time. We haven't had too many delays, to be totally honest with you. Small little VAR check for Hyun Yang's goal in the opening 25 minutes or so of this contest. Kieran Tierney now launching this throw on down the line. Giga is there to go and intervene. He can only get his poor play there by McGregor, giving away possession well cheaply towards Diamande. Tavernier trying to chip one down the line. Scales is there to pick up the loose ball. The Irishman back towards Sinnerslope in goal, happy to let that one run across the face of his body as Trusty creates the angle for him, and he can come driving forward now for Celtic. It'll be interesting to see Martin O'Neill and Denny Rolls approach in the second half in terms of options they do bring off the bench, as again Celtic now driving forward with some real pace here. Good, a promising opportunity here now as Maida gets himself in behind and nearly falling on towards this left-hand point flank with Kyun Yang. Nigel tries to get himself involved, chips back in towards that penalty area, headed away by Giga, picks up here once more by Kyun Yang. Tierney makes the overlapping run, creates a space instead towards McGregor, back towards Kyun Yang once again, promising here for Celtic, chips in towards that penalty area. Butland can gather. In fact, it was Dyson Maida that got himself in behind in towards a great position. Giga eventually did enough to get the block in, but my word, there was a little moment there as you thought that Rangers were going to be 2-1 behind if it wasn't for Giga. It's a great interception actually in the end. Chimiti now driving forward right up towards the on the other end on this left-hand side, as Celtic now have to do their defensive work. The Portuguese trying to fend off the challenge coming in from Trusty. Does well there, does Chimiti, in towards where Chukwani is. Taking over is Connor Barron on towards this right-hand side with Tavernier. Tavernier feels he has been fouled by Hyun Yang, on towards this left-hand side. Complains why it shouldn't have been given against the South Korean. But it certainly looked like a free kick, and a free kick it was. It was clever play there by Tavernier. It's a tough angle for him. He may fancy it for a shot on goal, but I think it's probably going to be a whipping towards the penalty area. It's just like a bit of a narrow angle. It's not quite like a corner, but it's a little bit far out for far wide out for a free kick. It's only 25 yards from goal, but it's right towards the far right-hand side of the penalty area. Tavernier is the man standing over this one then. It's a good opportunity here for Rangers just towards the conclusion of this first half to take the lead for the second time in this contest. Giga has made his way forward, looking for his first goal of this Scottish Prem season. Manuel Fernandez is in there as well. It's just a two-man war. Benjamin Nygren and the man that conceded the free kick of Hyun Yang. The way that Sinnerslow has set up is like he's going to cross it in towards the penalty area. Chimiti is all alone towards the far post. If Tavernier can flick it in towards the rear. Tavernier, one arm up and towards the air, does flick it in towards that far post where Chimiti nearly was arriving, and so was Giga. And it was a good opportunity in there for the centre half, but he just couldn't quite get the leap that he wanted. He was onside as well, and he just couldn't quite get the direction goalwards. Did get the contact, just not the accuracy in behind for a Celtic goal kick. Already taken quickly here for Kieran and Tierney, and we do have a little break here for a second as Celtic do move possession forward. Oh, well, I was just going to run on to potential options coming off the bench. We can do so as Tavernier does pick up this loose ball. Kelechi Iheanacho, of course, is an option potentially for Martin O'Neill. As is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Maybe we'll see Sebastian Tanitki potentially. In just terms of them attacking options, James Forrest is another one as well. In terms of them Rangers options off the bench, you look towards Dujan Sterling potentially. If they're looking towards them attacking options of Andreas Skov-Olsen as well. Have to see what Danny Fowl and Martin O'Neill do deem to do in the second half. It's going to be a really entertaining second half. Don't go anywhere. There's the conclusion of this first 45 minutes. We're not done yet, though. There's Tierney tries to move this ball forward in towards the middle of the park as Benjamin Nygren does take over. Moving a little bit deeper here is McGregor. Doesn't go towards him. Instead goes towards where Benjamin Nygren does make a nice little run forward. Nygren once again about 25 yards from that Rangers goal in towards where Arne Engels trying to make himself in towards a position where he can do some damage. Good interception though by Connor Barron. Can only clear momentarily. As far as Liam Scales, Celtic ending the better of the two in this first half. The Irishman in towards where McGregor is, over towards Kieran Tierney once again, back towards Scales. Rangers happy to sit in their shape, but Celtic are moving the ball quite nicely here with Tierney once again. A couple of options inside of the penalty area as Connor Barron comes over to put a little bit more defensive pressure as a deflected strike does come in. There's complaints for a corner. I think a corner has been given off the shot from Kyun Yang, right in front of where the noisy Celtic supporters are, who haven't stopped throughout these first 45 minutes. It was a good little interception in the end by Emmanuel Fernandez. Eventually the referee does point for a goal kick in the end. I thought it took a deflection actually off of the Englishman, but the referee, Nick Walsh, had a better view than anybody else, and he deemed that it was just a strike over the top from Kyun Yang. And it is going to be a Rangers goal kick. Danny Roll takes a big sip of water just there before he gets ready to deliver his first half team talk. Love to be a fly on the wall for both these dressing rooms. Only 1 minute of stoppage time at the end of this first half. Can understand that there by the officials. We haven't had too many delays at all, really. Emmanuel Fernandez now pumping this one towards where Chimiti tries to get himself involved. We all trust he's missed the initial one. Mikey Moore is trying to make a bit of a nuisance of himself. Eventually Celtic do enough, and Alistair Johnson is there to go and clear. Plucking this one out the air is Giga. Rolls it back instead towards Jack Butland in the Rangers net. Potential once more here for Rangers to pump one forward and nick one before half time. Mikey Moore is going to give chase to this. A long ball forward. Alistair Johnson is there to go and intervene. The flag has gone up instead against the Englishman. Celtic are happy to go and regroup. Diamande, I don't know really what he's doing here. He's putting pressure on the ball, even though it's a free kick already for Celtic. Here is Trusty, said towards Scales. And potentially one more Celtic attack before the end of this first half. Tierney now knows he has to go a little bit quickly here, does the Scotsman, driving towards the byline. Tierney cuts back instead. Kyun Yang does take over, trying to pick up the oncoming run. Promising here for Celtic as they're going to have one last throw of the dice, but Nick Walsh already putting his whistle towards his mouth. He gave Celtic a little bit of an opportunity, but they just took a little bit too long for his liking. There is half time. What a first half it has been. Fabulously entertaining with Mikey Moore opening up the scoring. It was fortunate how it ricocheted towards the Englishman. Yusuf Chimiti trying to go driving forward. It took a little bit of a ricochet off of a couple of Celtic defenders. I think it was Liam Scales that just rolled it back towards where Mikey Moore was. He was eventually able to go and convert from close range. And then it was Kyun Yang that got the equaliser after a lovely bit of work on the right-hand side. Johnson playing it towards Erna Engels, cutting it on towards the edge of the penalty area, and there was the South Korean after a small little VAR check, which I think the officials got right, and that was able to make it Celtic 1, Rangers 1. A couple of yellow cards to tell you about. Yusuf Chimiti going in a little bit late, picking up a yellow card, the only yellow card so far for Rangers in this contest, and Alistair Johnson. Bit of a harsh yellow card in my opinion, but a yellow card nevertheless in the 39th minute. Half-time here in this crucial Scottish Premiership game. Don't go anywhere. Back with you in about 10-15 minutes time for the second half of this contest. But at half-time is Celtic 1, Rangers 1. Well, welcome back, everyone, to Celtic Park. It's been a really, really good contest so far in the opening 45 minutes of this Old Firm derby. We've still got plenty more football to be played. Celtic 1, Rangers 1 so far throughout this contest. Mikey Moore was the man that opened up the scoring. Was there, wasn't it? Yusuf Chimiti went driving forward. He caused so many problems in the opening 15 minutes or so to the 21-year-old. And a little deflected effort off of Liam Scales fell towards the Englishman. Sinislow in the Celtic goal was wrong-footed from deflection. There was Mikey Moore able to convert home from close range. Fabulous finish it was in the end for the Englishman to give Rangers the advantage. But Hyun Yin Yang was there to go and answer back about 10-15 minutes after the opening goal of the contest, and he was able to finish with a nice little right-footed effort of the little cutback by Erna Engels, who made a great underlapping run as Alistair Johnston picked him out, and there was the South Korean to finish from close range. Slight little VAR call, whether or not Benjamin Nygren was influencing Jack Butland. For me, he wasn't. The officials agreed. I think they got it absolutely spot on. Rangers fans will disagree. Celtic fans will agree. Nevertheless, let's quickly run you through the two sides before they do re-emerge here in the sunshine at Celtic Park here today. Sinislow is the man in goals, just mentioned. Alistair Johnson, Austin Trusty, Liam Scales and Kieran Tierney complete the back four for Celtic. Anna Engels and Callum McGregor are the two holding midfielders. Luke McCowan is on that right-hand side with Yankin Yun over towards the left. Benjamin Nygren is the man down the middle of the park, and Dyson Maida is the man leading the line. Jack Butland in goal for Rangers. James Tavernier, Nasajiga, Fernandez and the two Romans in towards that left-back position. Conor Barron and Chukwani, who's been one of my standout favourite players so far today. The Dane, he's been really dictating things very nicely. Oliver Antman towards that right-hand side. Mikey Moore down the left. Mohamed Diamande, who wants to get a little bit more involved further up the field of play, because he's been heavily involved, but a little bit deeper than particularly what he would like. And Yusuf Chimiti is the man that leads the line for Rangers before Danny Roll, the German, or Martin O'Neill, the Northern Irishman, do make any kind of changes. And I'm looking towards the where the players are warming up. I don't think there's going to be any changes at half-time. I could be wrong with that, but just given the way that the players are warming up, it just looks like they're just going through their paces, they're just knocking the ball about. Doesn't look like anybody's doing some quick sprints. There is over towards that left-hand side, I think Osley Chambers over there just warming up with a coach, but to be honest, I don't think he's going to come on at the beginning of this second half. To provide you with the context of really what this means and why this game is carrying so much gravitation even. If Rangers win, they move on to 72 points, effectively keeping them in the title fight, but you've got to feel it's probably gone by that point, because all Hearts have to do is win one of their last two games. And of course, just to remind you of Hearts' last two games, it's Falkirk Nets and of course Celtic on the final day. We'll come on to that in a second. You'd fancy Hearts to beat Falkirk. Falkirk, don't get me wrong, they've had an excellent campaign, haven't they, coming up from the Scottish Championship, and they've had a really, really solid season in 6th place, reached themselves in towards this top 6 bracket. You'd still fancy Hearts to do the number over Falkirk, but never say never in the Scottish Prem. Like I say, it's been dubbed the best title run across all of Europe. Celtic, on the other hand, you'd feel they have to win today, otherwise they're going to have to hope that Hearts drop points against Falkirk, or they win their next two. And not only do Celtic will have to beat Motherwell, of course, who of course did pick up points against Hearts in their draw yesterday, which really did shake things up with how things are going to pan out with this season. But Celtic will have to win their last two games no matter what. But if they win today, they move on to 76 points, just 1 point behind Hearts. The context is Celtic could finish on level points with Hearts, but Hearts do have quite a superior goal difference by 5 goals. So even if Celtic do beat Hearts, Hearts will know they will win on that goal difference bracket. So there's so much riding on this. All both sides know they need to do is win. That is very much in their mind. Both of them are just going to try and find to win. I do believe we are going to see a substitution at half-time. Actually, I could be wrong with that. I think there's a Celtic change. Give you confirmation of that in just a moment. The Rangers players do re-emerge onto the pitch. Oliver Antman there having a little chat with his fellow Scandinavian Benjamin Nygren, who flicks it back towards where Anna Engels can get us back underway. Nick Walsh is the man in the middle of the park. So there is the context for this fixture. Long story short, both sides desperately need to win. We're in that part of the season and they'd love to do the number over their other noisy neighbours. Celtic do kick us off then, going from right to left in this second half. Back here with Scales and Sinislow in the Celtic goal. Trusty back towards Sinislow once again, as they'll be attacking towards where the opposite side of them noisy Celtic supporters are, towards this far left-hand side, towards our position, as their little flick on here towards where Hyun Yang can come driving forward. Quite interestingly here, actually, there's just been a little change of shape, actually, because Hyun Yang has just moved over towards the right-hand side and Luke McCowan's gone left. So there's a slight little change in the in the structure that Martin O'Neill has set up with his side. We're back here over towards this left-hand flank. There's a little foul there, given against where Maida was, and it is going to be a Rangers free kick. It's a good little move there from Chukwani, just come driving forward, and it does draw the free kick. Yeah, confirmation of that substitution, sorry. So Sebastian Tunetki has gone on towards this left-hand flank. So that's how things have changed up. Hyun Yang, who was playing left winger throughout the first half, he's gone out right, and as we can see towards our far side, Sebastian Tunetki has come on towards that left-hand flank. So the first change to the game from Martin O'Neill's side. Rangers free kick then. It's going to be whipped in towards that penalty area by Tur Romans. Good little ball in as well. Headed away by Maida. The Belgian does try to pick up the loose ball. Here goes Nygren. Again, nice bit of play there by the Swede, but Romans was there to go and get the interception. As James Tavernier can pick up the loose ball, and Mikey Moore can come and take over. Rolls it on towards that left-hand side where Chukwani can hold up the field of play quite nicely. The Dane really does dictate things for Rangers throughout this contest. The way he just breezes around the park, he just moves around so fluidly and keeps possession so well. And there's a free kick there by Callum McGregor, going in a little bit too aggressively on where Manuel Fernandez was trying to get his footing. It is going to be a Rangers free kick just on the halfway line. Just joining us, you're listening to live audio coverage of the second half between Celtic and Rangers. 1-1 at half time, as there was goals from Mikey Moore and Hyun Yang, which keeps the two sides at level pegging. Here is Mikey Moore now. He's been fouled there by Erna Engels, and the Belgian just with a little pullback, and there's complaints here feeling that there should be a yellow card. Nick Walsh has calling Erna Engels over to have a little word with the young Belgian, just explaining no more of that or you will be going into the book, to join Alistair Johnston in Celtic colours, that has already picked up a yellow card in this game. It was good officiating there by Nick Walsh for me, just deeming that it's not worth a yellow card. I completely agree with him there, but just having a little word as if to say, any more of that, you will be in the book. As James Tavernier standing over this free kick. There's a long way out. It's a good 50-odd yards. He's already got one arm up in the air. He's going to whip one towards that penalty area. It's a decent little delivery as well. He's gone all the way through. Kept in play here over towards this left-hand side by Romans, who just flicking one in towards that penalty area. The Sinislow does come and gather as Celtic eventually do clear momentarily. Picked up here by Chimiti. He's been forced back here just for the moment. It's the Portuguese over towards his right hand side with Conor Barron, and Rangers starting the more positively at the start of this second half. Here is Butland now on towards his left hand side with Fernandez, rolling this one down the line. There's some really good pressing there by Alistair Johnston, who does slip as he goes to take the throw on, but the Canadian does very well to get possession back for Celtic, and they can regroup here just for the moment, because Rangers were starting to get a little bit ahead of steam. This is a key spell of possession, you'd have to say, for Austin Trusty over towards his fellow North American, where Johnston can try and roll this ball backwards. Here is Trusty once again. He's got Scales towards his left hand side, picks out his centre half partner. The Irishman is having a positive game so far in these Celtic colours. Down the line towards where Maida is. The Celtic keeping possession quite nicely as Tierney tries to pick up the underlapping run of Nygren. Tavernier is there to go and intervene. Nice bit of play once again by Chukwani. Slightly overhit though by the Dane. Tavernier saw the intention, give him a little thumbs up as the Celtic can regroup here with the throw on towards this left-hand side. Long throw on as well towards where Maida is. Maida trying to hold up the field of play. Feels he has been fouled there, does Maida. Eventually does win the corner. Really good play there by the Japanese, because he had Fernandez all over the back of him, but was just able to do enough to eventually use his body and win the corner over towards this far left-hand side. Celtic with an opportunity to send Trusty and Scales forward. They've had success from corners throughout this season, haven't Celtic? Certainly got some real big units making their presence be known already, with Scales and Johnston towards that near post and Trusty towards the rear. Going to be the in-swinging delivery then towards where the big centre-halves have gone forward of Anna Engels to whip this ball in towards that penalty area. The Belgian, who did hint at the little short ball, instead opts out of it. Where instead the Belgian does whip this one in. It's a good little ball in as well. Headed away momentarily by Giga. Tries to pick up the loose ball on this left-hand side of Scales, trying to bring it down. Tavernier eventually does clear Rangers from on towards that left-hand side. Sebastian Tunecki is given the short option. We haven't seen anything of the Tunisian so far in the opening 5 minutes of his introduction into this contest. Certainly a game that he's been playing at a very quick pace, let's say. There's not real, for the forward players especially, there's no real time at all. The second you get that ball under control to even get your head up and try and go looking forward. Qingyun Yang eventually has got his head forward and he's able to make a nice little run here, beating about 3 or 4 blue shirts. Here is Teneki now. Nice bit of space for the Tunisians. Cutting on that right foot of his. He's got options inside the penalty area. Opts out of the cross instead. McGregor back towards Teneki. Lovely ball there. It's Nygren across the face of goal. Oh, nearly arriving was Maida. And eventually he does trickle behind for a Rangers goal kick. But that was a lovely bit of move there by Celtic. It was a lovely ball in behind towards where Nygren was. And he put a lovely little ball in right across the 6-yard box. And Dyson Maida was at full stretch trying to get there. Couldn't quite do so. Nearly clattered Jack Butland in the process. Eventually Rangers get away with one. Martin O'Neill, who is of course 74 years of age. He immediately jumped towards his feet. And then thinking his side took the lead in this contest. They're moving forward once again here with Qingyun Yang because he has been fouled, not going to be given by our referees, getting all messy on the edge of the penalty area. Maida feels he has been fouled now, not going to be given once again by our referee, as Rangers can clear, but Celtic getting a little bit ahead of steam here. Tierney's just having to retreat just for the moment, rolling it back towards where Sinislo is in the Celtic goal, and it's good play there by the Celtic goalkeeper just to hint at the pass towards his right-hand side, but just wrong-footing Chimetti, and does give a little bit more room for Trusty to go and operate him. We're back here with him now, deep inside of Celtic's own half. 8 minutes played, still Celtic 1, Rangers 1. Here is Liam Scales once again. He's on the halfway line now, the Irishman, rolling this one down the line as Teneki again getting himself heavily involved so far after taking a little while to get introduced. Here is Teneki once more. Barron is doing his absolute best to try and keep with him. Back towards Nygren. He's come a little bit deeper to try and pick up this loose ball. Tierney once more. Nygren makes a little run inside of the pocket. Opts out of that one instead. Here is McGregor taking over, looking for any kind of option inside of the middle of the park as Rangers with all 11 men behind the ball. Scales shipping one over the top towards where Kieran Tierney makes a clever little run. Tierney across the face. Goal. Maida's there! It's Celtic 2, Rangers 1. It's a great little move, you'd have to say, from the home side, who have been thoroughly the better of the past 4 or 5 minutes. A great little run over the top by Kieran Tierney, and he puts in a great little ball towards where Maida can arrive at the near post and convert past Jack Butland. And for the first time in this contest, Celtic take the lead. It's Celtic 2, Rangers 1. Great little move, great little goal. Rod Stewart goes absolutely crazy inside of the stands. And in the opening 7-8 minutes of this second half, it's Celtic 2, Rangers 1. Scales with just such a clever pick out towards Kieran Tierney, who makes such a cleverly timed run. He's miles onside, and Tavernier knows he can't quite get there. They're all looking towards the linesman, but the Scotsman is so far onside, puts it right in towards that edge of the 6-yard box as Maida makes a clever little run. The Japanese just instinctively stabs it goalwards towards that bottom right corner. Butland's got no chance at all for Celtic. It's a huge goal, not only for them in this game, but also for the context of this season. They will now move 1 point behind Hearts with 2 games to go. And of course, they face Hearts on the final day of what is proving to be the best run-in really across all of Europe in terms of the top flight competitions. It's thoroughly entertaining. And for Celtic and these home supporters that are going absolutely ballistic right now, they can feel it, can't they? Here goes Maida once again on this left-hand side. Oh, he's gone a little bit too aggressively this time on Giga. And he does give away the free kick, his 11th goal in the SPL this season, you've got to say, is probably his most important as well, potentially in the context of things. If it does end 2-1, Rangers need to find their footing back. They started really, really well for the first 3 minutes of the second half, but have just gone into their shell. Celtic bided their time, and now they've got themselves in front as well. Such a clever run there by Kieran Tierney. He just pulled off the back of James Tavernier, but it was really clever how Tierney, he looked along the line of the Rangers defence and realised they were a little bit disjointed, and he made sure he was just in line of Emmanuel Fernandez to be able to get himself in behind of James Tavernier, but keep himself onside as well, getting himself his 8th assist in this SPL season. So Hearts are on 77 points, Celtic 76 points, Rangers 69. Rangers will no longer be able to win the SPL if this result does end like this. I mean, it was a huge ask anyways if they do win this game to potentially win the league this season, but nevertheless it does mean that they will be out of that contest. Here goes McGregor now, just trying to come and moving forward. Maida tries to pick up this loose ball. It's all got Messi on the edge of the Rangers penalty area. As now here is Kieran Tierney, once again the provider of that second goal, over towards where Tinecki can take over on this left-hand side. He's causing a few problems here is Tinecki, as Tavernier is struggling to try and keep pace with him. Tinecki in towards that penalty area. Maida with the bicycle kick. Oh, it's incredible. It's absolutely sensational by Maida. It's goal of the season for Celtic in one of their most important games of the campaign as well. He just flicked it up with his left foot, and with the bicycle kick, the acrobatic effort, looping over Jack Butland into the top right corner. It's 2 goals in a matter of minutes for the Japanese, and it's Celtic 3, Rangers 1, and they're going absolutely ballistic here in Celtic Park. What a goal that is by Dyson Maida. Tinecki kept it alive, and he was causing Tavernier all sorts of problems on this right-hand side. Put it across the face of goal. Barron was there to clear. I mean, Maida had just pulled off one of the most extraordinary pieces of display I think I've ever seen. He flicks it up with his left foot and just, oh, it's incredible. It's like Mario Mandzukic in the Champions League final many years ago with the way he flicks it up and just how he executes it with his right foot, and it's such perfectly connected as well, just to loop in on the top of the crossbar, nearly hits the top of the crossbar in towards the side netting of the top right corner. Jack Butler was a mere spectator, like all of the Rangers supporters towards the opposite side of the pitch. Maida goes absolutely ballistic. He falls towards the floor. It's a dog pile of all of the Celtic players. And in a matter of moments, the game has almost ran away from Rangers from a moment of absolute magic from Maida, as he's now chasing a hat-trick as well. What a goal that is from the Japanese. There's 2 goals in a matter of 4 minutes for him. And the game, I mean, Rangers, I'm just saying, they started the second half all right. In the opening 3-4 minutes, they looked the more likely. And it's just in 2 quick successions, suddenly the game has almost got away from them. They got a throw on here on this right-hand side, Tavernier, who is keen to just slow the pace of play down. I mean, that really is, it's goal of the season all day. It's absolutely fantastic. And credit to Dyson Maida. It's absolutely incredible. Danny Roll is now deemed he's seen enough. He wants to make some change. He's going to make 3 substitutions here. I think Tavernier will be one of them. That's his last ever Old Firm, and it ends after 59 minutes. Tavernier is being replaced. There's also his Barron. He's immediately stormed off the pitch as well, and Diamande's day is over. So it's just coming onto the field of play. We are going to see Theo Asgard coming on, as he'll be coming on for where I believe Diamande was. Also coming on is Jedi Gassama as well. He'll be going out towards that right-hand side, and Sterling coming on towards the right-back position. We'll give you a bit more of a rundown of them substitutions as we do see them be introduced. Here is Asgard immediately getting himself involved, as Danny Roll wants a little reaction from his side. Asgard, who has been bundled over. McGregor going in aggressively there on Barron. It wasn't Barron that came off, sorry. It looked like it was Barron that was just sprinting towards the dugout, as Maida gets himself involved, and things start to flare up here just for the moment. Just want to correct something as well. Sidney Johnston picks up a yellow card. It actually looked like a red card in the first half. Just seeing a few replays towards our monitors. There was a really strong challenge that went in from Johnson. Potentially could have been a red card, wasn't given. Nevertheless, Celtic still have 11 men and they've got a 2-goal lead as well. So Tavernier has been replaced by Sterling on that right-hand side. Long ball played forward here by Rangers as Chimiti tries to get himself involved. Here is Maida chasing a hat-trick now. McGregor, he's on cloud 9 at the moment, isn't he, Maida? Here is Johnson rolling this one down the line towards where Hyun Jung Yang can try and go and give chase, as that ball eventually does trickle out as Fernandez is furious towards where Chikwani is, feeling that he needs to do a little bit more there from the Dane. Here is Maida, now again leaving his foot. He needs to be careful here, Maida. I know he's certainly got a lot of adrenaline running through his body at the moment because of the way this game has panned out for him. Here is Nygren now as Celtic looking to try and form an attack of their own. Back here with Kieran and Tierney once again, and Scales in towards Sinislow in the Celtic goal. So again, we can all take a little breather just for the moment as we've ticked past the hour mark in this contest. Celtic 3, Rangers 1. Once again, moving forward are Celtic. Again, Maida looking to try and get himself in the way of things. Couldn't quite do so. Handed away momentarily by Nasser Giga. And so once again, here with Hyun Yang, Maida again trying to get himself in behind. Giga eventually does come over and deal with that one. Giga feels he has been fouled by Maida, and it is going to be a free kick. Maida is really, I tell you what, he is really feeling this game at the minute. He is leaving his footing on absolutely everything, and even just with that, he gave little Giga a little bit of a look there, as if to say, you want to try and tackle me if you like. Good luck with that. And we're just seeing as well, just confirmation with that. Mohamed Diamande has been replaced in the middle of the park by Thilo Asgard, and we have also seen the replacement of James Tavernier. He's come off for Dujon Sterling, who's gone towards that right-hand side, and Oliver Antman, who, to be honest, we barely saw anything of throughout the first half of this first hour really of this contest. He's been replaced by Kasama on that right-hand side. So Rangers making 3 changes after going 2 goals behind, courtesy of Dyson Maida. Here is Scales once again, back towards where McGregor can roll forward here with Trusty. What a game this has proved to be. Old Firms always proves to be such great contests, and this has been absolutely fantastic, and we've still got half an hour more of it to go. Here is Trusty once again. McGregor once more just inside of his own half, as just Celtic happy to retain possession. Ooh, and a late challenge comes in this time again on this left-hand flank. I think we are potentially going to see a yellow card with this. I know Nick Walsh does he's been quite lenient there, actually, is Nick Walsh with his decision-making, because did feel that was potentially a yellow card there from Romans. He's gone steaming in on Austin Trusty, and he's nowhere near the ball. I think the Belgian gets away with one there, to be totally honest with you, because it looked like it was a yellow card all day. Nevertheless, Celtic free kick just inside of their own half, as it's going to be resumed here with Alistair Johnston. Potentially lucky still to be on the pitch. Here is Trusty once again here with Liam Scales. Back here with Trusty once again on this right-hand side. Johnston now trying to roll this ball in towards the middle of the park. Here is Austin Trusty now taking over. Back towards where Scales is on this left-hand side. Coming short is Callum McGregor, potentially to give him an option. Benjamin Nygren now instead, and Sinislow inside of the Celtic goal. Far happier to keep possession deep inside of their own half now are Celtic. Don't feel that urge to potentially just still coming driving forward instead. Here is Jung Yun Yan trying to put a little ball in towards that penalty area. The South Korean just trying to create a little bit of room for himself. Hyun Yun Yang trying to chip one in towards that far post. Picked up hit by Tunget and Tenetki. Great little touch there by the Tunisian as Kieran Tierney trying to whip one in towards that penalty area. Overhit instead by the Scotsman. It will be a Rangers goal kick. We're just saying how they're quite happy to retain possession just for the moment. Our Rangers, our Celtic, sorry, just as they try and move their way forward from the back, but slightly too early. Eventually, they work their way forward on this right-hand side and come driving forward instead. And we'll see Jack Butland pumping this ball forward towards this left-hand side. So just to remind you of the context, and also maybe this is why Celtic are going to come driving forward. They need their goal difference, don't they? As it stands in terms of the goal difference, Hearts are still superior on a plus 32. Celtic on plus 29. This could be an opportunity for them as Nygren now coming driving forward. Nygren looking for room for the strike. Couldn't quite find any. Here is Tanetki now on this left-hand side. Tanetki driving towards the byline now. Blocked instead by Sterling. Tanetki now trying to pick up the loose ball. Plays back towards Kieran Tierney. We'll just give you a little bit more rundown of the context here in just a moment. McGregor over towards Tierney once again. He's looking for options inside of the middle of the park. Engels is trying to offer that kind of area. Engels now on towards where Trusty is. He can move it on towards this right-hand flank once again with Alistair Johnston. And Hyun Yang can move over once more. Trusty in towards where Callum McGregor can take over. Trusty once more. Hyun Yang about 40 yards from that Rangers goal. Hyun Yang misses his touch. Trusty is there to go and intervene. He can only pump it long, and it's going to be easily gathered in the end by Emmanuel Fernandez. Can only put it into touch instead towards the Celtic fans' approval. There's a goal throw on deep inside of Rangers' half. So yes, let's quickly remind you of the context. Rangers will be out of things. Their SPL campaign is over. It was a big ask anyways, but it's certainly gone. Celtic, who are doing the Poznan now in celebration, just really putting the nail in the coffin of that. Celtic go 1 point behind Hearts. As it stands, they're 3 goals worse than the goal difference. However, of course, remind you, after this game, Celtic will face Motherwell. Hearts will face Falkirk. If both sides win their contests, it goes down to the final day. Hearts against Celtic in what is going to be just a straight shootout. Celtic will know they have to win, and potentially if their goal difference is not better, they will have to beat Hearts. If the Hearts win or draw, then they will claim the SPL title. That's as things stand. Rangers can still prove, if they can really just throw things up in the last 25 minutes and upset this Celtic party that is starting to get underway quite early doors here in Scotland, here at Celtic Park, they could really upset things. Never say never. We've certainly seen weirder things in football. Here is McGregor now trying to move this ball forward on this right-hand side. McGregor keeping possession quite nicely. Back here with Trusty. Scales gives him a different kind of angle. The Irishman now looking to try and move this ball forward. Scales, nice ball down the line towards Tierney. Tierney trying to use the overlapping run of Tanetki, but there is Eugene Sterling there to go and intervene. Jack Butland once more, who had really no chance, you'd have to say, of any of the goals that have gone in the back of his net really today. Chimiti feels he has been fouled by Trusty. Referee playing a really, really good advantage. Trusty once again, and surely one of them has got to be a yellow card, and eventually he does get a yellow card for the pull there on Mikey Moore. Feels he had to make the challenge. Trusty does make the challenge, does pick up the yellow card. The initial one on Chimiti went in quite aggressively on the Portuguese, bundling him to the ground. Mikey Moore came driving forward instead, and he pulled him to the ground. And not for the first one was a maybe yellow card. The second one was a definite yellow card. Goes into Nick Walsh's book. Here is Sterling now on this right-hand side. It's a shocking ball there by Sterling, giving absolutely no chance at all for Paul Gassama to try and get himself involved. Gassama tries to make a little underlapping run, and there's a real disconnect really from that Rangers right-hand side as Maida tries to go driving forward. Maida's going to get a yellow card here if he's not careful. He's gone in about 3 or 4 times now, has Dyson Maida, and he keeps on leaving his foot in. Potentially that's an option for Martin O'Neill just to substitute him before. I know he's done a couple goals and he's chasing a hat-trick, but be a bit more sensible. You don't want a player potentially getting a yellow card and maybe running the risk of being sent off in this kind of contest. Here is Gassama now on this right-hand side, looking to try and drive this ball forward. It's a great interception over there by McGregor, using all of his experience to read the ball in behind, get his foot out, get in the interception, and get possession back for Celtic momentarily, as Rangers have 22 minutes to try and find some sort of response in this contest. Tua Romans is the man coming and taking over now. The Belgian moving this ball forward inside towards Connor Barron. Once again here over on this left-hand side with Chukwani, trying to play a little ball in behind towards the oncoming run of Mikey Moore. Couldn't quite do so. Asgard is there to go and intervene, and it does go in behind in the end. And it will be a little throw-on taken quickly. Chimiti can place for handball instead. Chimiti now trying to find some room for the striking towards the penalty area, as he's complaining that it should be a Rangers corner instead, but Nick Walsh had a really, really good view of it, and does give the goal kick in the end. There's a good little bit of run there by Yusuf Chimiti, thinking he was able to get himself in towards an area. Of course, the former Evertonian couldn't quite do so in the end for the Portuguese. Just 21 years of age. Certainly has caused a few problems for that Celtic defence today. Hasn't got himself on the score sheet, but for Danny Roll, it's one of them. The game's kind of just sprinted away from, and that moment of magic from Maida has really just turned things on its head, it would have to be said. Here is Chimiti now, over towards this left-hand side. Trusty knew he couldn't foul him, he was tempted to. Mikey Moore does take over deep inside of Celtic's half now. This is a good spell here for Rangers. Mikey Moore now chipping this one in towards that penalty area. Headed away by Scales, picked up here once more by Johnston. He can clear their lines. And Maida again having a little coming together with Giga this time. As Emmanuel Fernandez to pick up the loose ball, putting this one back down the line towards this left-hand side. Here is Fernandez once again. Little Cruyff turn inside of the middle of the park. Chip one over the top towards Mikey Moore. Brings it down first time. This is great play here by Mikey Moore, getting himself into a really nice position. Asgard does pick up the loose ball. Rangers getting themselves on top. Connor Barron now on towards his right-hand side. Little Cruyff turn inside of the middle of the park. Back here once more towards where Emmanuel Fernandez can take over. Barron, Celtic with all 11 men behind the ball and everybody inside of that Celtic half, apart from the man in goal, Jack Butland. Once again now, chip one over the top towards this right hand. It's a really poor ball. There's a disconnect. There is a disconnect, you'd have to feel, for Rangers in their defensive third towards their attacking third. And for poor Connor Barron, who's trying his absolute best to try and keep the ball moving around quite nicely and get everybody else involved that is further up the pitch. It's a valiant effort, but it's not quite working for them, you'd have to say. Here is Giga now. They know they need to get this ball higher up the pitch because at the moment they're keeping possession quite nicely, but it's on the halfway line. It's got to be moved a little bit higher. On towards this left-hand side now as Emmanuel Fernandez looks to come and try driving forward. Fernandez moving forward quite nicely here. Fernandez past 2 or 3 players, still going inside of the penalty area. Fernandez winning the corner. Really good play there by the Englishman, dancing past 3 or 4 players and winning the set piece for Rangers. Well, I think it's actually been given as a goal kick in the end. I mean, it was initially given there by Nick Walsh over for a Rangers corner. There's a real bit of confusion here just for the moment. I think there was actually a free kick in the end, and eventually it has been given as a Celtic free kick over towards that left hand. So I didn't really see too much in it, to be totally honest with you, initially, but it has been given. And Celtic, not only are they going to use this opportunity to take this free kick, they are going to use this opportunity to make another substitution. We are going to see the introduction of Rio Hatete for the last 20, or just shy of 20 minutes of this contest. I imagine we'll probably get 3 or 4 minutes of stoppage time, maybe a little bit more, but again, we haven't had any delays, no VAR checks, particularly when you have a moment of magic like Maida's. You're not checking that one. You can't chalk that goal off with the way he's hit the best shot of his life with a bicycle kick, and Maida again going in a little bit aggressively as Celtic looking to try and regain possession here with Kieran Tierney. Scotsman gives it away quite cheaply though. Taking over in the middle of the park is Mikey Moore, driving forward with some real pace and tenacity now. Mikey Moore in towards a half decent position. Tierney, strong challenge, but he's made all of the ball there, has the Scotsman, just to deny Mikey Moore, who was getting some real confidence as he was starting to move forward. Emmanuel Fernandez now taking over, goes short instead towards where Asgard is. Back here with Connor Barron once again as he plays a little ball in towards Moore. Moore looking more likely here at the moment, trying to roll it in towards where Gassama can try and take over. Moore looking for the ball on the edge of the penalty area, couldn't quite pick him out. Here is Chimiti looking for any kind of space. Chimiti now towards the byline. Chimiti going for the strike from such a narrow angle. It took a small little deflection. Rangers corner. They finally get their set piece that they've been begging for in this game. The Portuguese did really well, fending off a couple of challenges that came in, but just tried to smash one goalwards. He had no real kind of angle going for the strike. Eventually does get the corner, and it's going to be taken over here by 2 Romans. If a goal for Rangers comes now, how that would really turn things in this contest, as Chukwani has made his way forward, as has Manuel Fernandez. They've got to keep an eye on him. Romans' ball does come in, headed away here by Scales, picked up here once more by Gassama. Got to try and clip this ball back in towards that penalty area. Romans once again whipping one back in towards that far post. It's a clever delivery as well, nearly put across the face of goal. There's complaints for another corner has been given. Engels has felt the full effect of that one from the oncoming challenge towards where Giga came driving in. Romans put in a really nice delivery, just set himself up with that left foot of his, floated one in towards the far post, and Erna Engels felt the full contact of both his own man of Johnston and Giga. It was basically a sandwich in between the 2 challenges that was coming in, and felt the contact. In fact, Johnston feels the contact as well. We've got 2 head injuries here. Both players are down, and 2 Celtic men are just having to receive a little bit of treatment. We're going to have a little bit of a delay here for the 2 sets of medical staff over here checking on their players. And as we do have this break, I'll quickly remind you of how the game has panned out so far. Mikey Moore was the man that opened up the scoring in the opening 9 minutes of the contest. He was able to pounce on a deflected effort from Yusuf Chimiti to make it Rangers 1, Celtic 0, and then it was Hyun Yang that was able to get himself in towards the penalty spot. Lovely little finish after a clever ball put in by Erna Engels, who is back towards his feet, to make it 1-0 in towards half time, and then Maida with 2 moments of magic, particularly his second goal, to make it 3-1 with a bicycle kick. Absolutely incredible finish. As it is going to be a Rangers corner now on this left-hand side. It's in there by Asgard. We've still got 15 minutes to play of this contest. Certainly the story of this old firm is not done just yet. Mikey Moore has gone steaming, and so has Barron. And it's worked out fortuitously, nearly, for where Hyun Yang fully was able to get himself in behind on this left-hand side. He's playing on the right-hand side now, started on the left-hand flank, and moving on towards this right-hand side after the introduction of Tenetki. As we are going to see a substitution over here with Benjamin Nygren's day is over. Had a little bit of an impact, you'd have to say, in attacking midfield. Probably not as much as what you would have hoped for, but nevertheless his impact has been relatively influential. And Rio Hatete will be coming on. We are going to see an attacking option as well here by Danny Roll coming off the field of play. He was a player who has impressed me really today. Is Tachi Chikwani, but they need attacking options now. The holding midfielder, the Dane, is Arthur Boyan. Mioviski will be coming on, the man from North Macedonia. As now they're driving forward now, our Rangers. As immediately Barron tries to get himself involved, couldn't quite do so. Holding up the field of play is Maida. He's got so many challenges coming in him there in blue. They're really leaving their footing on absolutely everything. It really does have that derby feel, to be totally honest with you, with just the way that challenges are flying in. You can tell it's an old firm. Just that everybody's leaving their footing on absolutely everything. Driving forward now, we're here is Emmanuel Fernandez. He's just left the ball behind him, and he's left a little bit of open space as well, which was where Hyun Yang has immediately gone into, but he's given away possession quite cheaply. Fernandez once again. Here goes Moore on this left-hand side, trying to roll through Romans down towards the byline now, but Johnston with some excellent defending there from the Canadian, and they're all immediately in the face of Romans, and it's place boiling over a little bit. Mikey Moore has gone in to try and protect the Belgian, and it's all kicking off here between where Johnston is, who is on a yellow card, so he needs to be a little bit careful. McGregor and Mikey Moore a little coming together as well. You felt this was going to happen, didn't you, at some point in this contest? It always does in old firms, where it just boils over, and our referee Nick Walsh has a little bit of a decision to make. I think Mikey Moore might be going in towards the book, because he is the one that really escalated things. Well, the Celtic players certainly escalated things, actually. They all crowded round where Tua Romans was after he was basically just man-marshalled off the pitch. Mikey Moore went in to try and go and protect his teammate, and that's where things kicked off here. To be honest, I'm surprised it's taken until 78 minutes for things to boil over a little bit. Just seeing how the way that Alistair Johnston did defend things. Kiernan Tierney has picked up a yellow card, as has Tua Romans. I'm surprised is Kiernan Tierney out of all of them. Kiernan Tierney surprised himself. He just almost brushes it off a little bit to pick up a yellow card, and Tua Romans is the man that's got a yellow card as well. I think the Belgian can maybe feel a little bit hard done by there, to be totally honest with you. All he was trying to do was go all the way towards the byline. There was a slight linking of arms between him and Alistair Johnston, and he got crowded over, and he was doing his absolute best to try and get himself out of that situation. And Mikey Moore was the man that came in just to try and protect his teammate. And can understand it there from the Englishman, because the Celtic players were certainly gloating in the face of the Belgian, who in turn picks up a yellow card himself. So a couple of yellow cards being dished out. We usually see that from referees. They always dish out a couple of yellow cards just to make it fair. Kiernan Tierney is a bit of the confused face, as if to say, well, why am I being given a yellow card? But nevertheless, that does mean that 3 of the Celtic back 4 are all on yellow cards. That's Kiernan Tierney, Trusty, and Johnston, who is a lucky man to still be on the pitch. My initial viewing of it, I initially thought, Scales is going to get a yellow card as well now. And all of the back 4 of Celtic do have a yellow card. He's just slapped the face of Yusuf Chimiti, who just turned him so nicely. Lovely little Cruyff turn. Oh, it's a nasty challenge from him, Scales. I mean, cynical is an understatement, to be totally honest with you. He's smiling, but now all of the Celtic back four are on yellow cards, and I'm just saying that they one of them wasn't on a yellow card. Now Scales for missing out, may as well get a yellow card as well. I said in the first half, Alistair Johnston's challenge, I initially thought it wasn't even a free kick. Completely wrong with that. He was really lucky. He made the ball, but he's gone steaming on a Mikey Moore. He's a lucky boy still to be on the pitch as the Canadian. On another day, potentially could have been a red card, probably should have been a red card. Connor Barron is the man standing over this resulting free kick then after the cynical takedown from Liam Scales on Yusuf Chimiti. Is going to be the in-swing delivery from the Scotsman in towards that far post. Is met there as well by, over towards, I think it was Giga on towards the far post. He hasn't scored in the Scottish Premier League this season. He just arrived towards the rear. Good ball in by Barron. Giga was there. It wasn't the most convincing of headers. It was straight down the throat of Sinislow. And Celtic can regroup, moving this ball down the line towards Johnston as Mikey Moore does to try and put a little bit of a press on. Chip ball over towards Maida. Maida, who's in behind. He's surely got to be offside. It's not been given here for the moment. Maida, who does drag his effort wide. I mean, the flag does eventually go up. He was miles off, to be totally honest with you. I'm surprised Linesman's flag didn't go up initially. He looked absolutely yards off. I tell you what, it's closer than initially expected, just because of the slow run back from Emmanuel Fernandez and Giga. Eventually Maida, who on another day, I mean, maybe that could have been. It would have had to certainly gone towards the official, the VAR, to see if he was offside or not. And eventually he just dragged his effort wide, so it didn't really matter in the end. Kelechi Iheanacho's day is over. He's coming off as well for Hyun Yang over towards that right-hand side, and Alistair Johnston is being replaced by Tony Ralston, the 27-year-old on that right-hand side. So Kelechi Iheanacho for the last 10 minutes being introduced, and Tony Ralston as well. Just a little bit more energy for this Celtic side. So Kelechi Iheanacho, has gone straight down the middle of the pitch, and Maida has come out on towards this left-hand side, and Tinecki has gone out right. So a little change of shape here for Celtic for the last 10 minutes of this game. Here is Maida now on that left-hand side, trying to put a ball in towards the edge of the penalty area. Does so. Nobody's there to come meet it. Theo Asgard is able to come driving forward instead. The Norwegian trying to drive forward here on this right-hand side as Maida again coming steaming in, and this time a yellow card is going to be given towards the Japanese. Felt that was inevitable, to be totally honest with you, the way he was throwing himself into basically absolutely everything. It was inevitable that Dyson Maida was going to pick up a yellow card, our fifth recipient in green and white colours of a yellow card. He joins the full back line also on a yellow card in this contest. It's not an old firm without a few yellow cards, is it? Here is Maida now trying to play this ball down the line. There's a poor ball there though by Maida. Gassama does pick up the loose ball. Asgard now towards the back line as taking over is Emmanuel Fernandez down towards where Barron is. It's all Rangers pressure here for the moment. They've got a lot of work to do though to try and reduce this 2-goal deficit that they find themselves in. 8 minutes to play of normal time. Anticipate a little bit more stoppage time after all these little bit more stoppages with the yellow card, maybe 5-6 minutes of stoppage time. Barron now trying to whip this ball in towards that far post, picked here by where Romans can pick up the loose ball. Here it's Asgard, 25 yards from goal. Moore, this is promising here for Rangers. Manuel Fernandez, opportunity to whip one in towards that far post. Chimiti trying to arrive, couldn't quite do so. Gassama instead on towards the byline now. Gassama trying to find a way past Maida. Maida, who has been absolutely fantastic and is absolutely no doubt the man of the match in this game, doing his defensive work instead now. Here is Barron, picked up once again is Gassama, launching this ball down the line towards where Sterling is, trying to whip one in towards that penalty area. Kieran Tierney does get the block in, and he's feeling a little bit of cramp as well. Here is the Scotsman just for the moment. He's just gone down. I think his day might be over. Yeah, Kieran Tierney will be being replaced over towards that left-hand side. And the thing is, it will be Marcelo Sarachi just to come on. Yeah, Tierney's got a little bit of cramp. His day is over. He gets a standing ovation from them Celtic supporters who absolutely love him here at Celtic Park. Do they for Kieran Tierney? So Marcelo Sarachi, the Uruguayan, will be coming on towards that left-hand side. Tierney just getting the appraisal towards all of them Celtic supporters. Nevertheless, he has conceded the throw-on. It's going to be a long throw-on launched in towards that penalty area. Hasn't been met there initially. Cleared away by Rio Hatete towards this right-hand side as Romans is there to pick up the loose ball. Here is Mikey Moore launching this all back towards Jack Butland. Rangers happy to regroup here with the Englishman, pumping this one straight back down the throat of the pitch over towards where Romans is. Oh, it's a poor ball there by Jack Butland. He went to go pump it down the throat of the pitch towards Emmanuel Fernandez, who had both arms up in the air, wanting that ball straight towards him, and he's just sliced his effort. Nowhere near good enough there from Jack Butland, because Celtic can kill the game a little bit, slow the pace of play down and just tick things along. Because let me just give you that quick reminder. As things stand, Celtic going towards 1 point of Hearts after they dropped 2 points yesterday against Motherwell with a draw. And there will only be 3 goals as well behind on their goal difference. Of course, Celtic, who have scored more goals than Hearts this season by 4, however, their goals against is far worse. Hearts only conceding 31 times throughout their 36 games this season. Celtic conceding 38 out of their 36, conceding 1 today as well from Mikey Moore. Here is Dujon Sterling now, rolling this one back instead towards where Giga is, on towards this right-hand side. Butland once again in towards Emmanuel Fernandez. Little Cruyff turn by him to fend off the challenge coming in from Kelechi Iheanacho. Emmanuel Fernandez certainly does look like a composed player on the ball, but he will be frustrated that they've conceded 3 goals today here at Celtic Park. Here is Giga rolling this one down the middle of the park towards Asgar. Needs to be careful there, does the Norwegian. Didn't really look over towards his right shoulder as to what was behind him. Barron now, really late challenge there upon Rio Hatete. Wouldn't be surprised if the referee does come back and book him. He's playing a really good advantage here instead. Here goes Emmanuel Fernandez driving towards his left-hand side. Slightly heavy touch there by Fernandez, and he goes in a bit aggressively this time. Referee blowing up for the foul from Fernandez up against Tony Ralston, just about 25 yards from that Celtic goal. It's maybe a little bit harsh. Fernandez looks like he does win the ball, but it's just the way that he took a heavy touch, went in a little bit too aggressively, and Celtic free kick has been given. Martin O'Neill again working that little bit of magic that he always seems to find, doesn't he, for Celtic, coming in towards the job at 74 years of age, and how he keeps on doing it. And if he can deliver another Scottish Premier League title for Celtic, what a season that will be for him. He knows that all of Scotland will want Hearts to win, because they just want a different winner. But Celtic are there. They're looking to upset all of that. They're looking to try and continue their flurry of form that they've had for so many years, and win another Scottish Premier League title. And with a result today like this, who's to say they won't go on and win it? And everybody's eyes will be fixated on that contest against Hearts in a couple of games. Only 1 game after this one time. Rangers again, they've still got a little bit of time to upset that party happening at the moment here in Celtic Park. And so they're trying to drive forward now in the middle of the park with Mikey Moore trying to roll through Romans. He's slightly overhit there with the pass, and eventually able to go and go was Tony Ralston, using a little bit of an injection of pace back in towards where Ralston has to do some more defensive work. He's gone in really aggressively, has Bojan Miłoszewski, and the referee deeming that a little bit too much, to be totally honest with you. And I can understand it. Miłoszewski just had no eye on the ball at all. He was looking to just try and jump in there on Tony Ralston, and the referee, it's a really good decision there, actually, looking at the head movement there from the North Macedonian, and second he went in. Referee deeming that a little bit too much. Free kick again for Celtic. Poor day here for Danny Roll and his side. They've had moments throughout this game where they've been a little bit of the better side at times, but they just haven't been able to get the goals that they needed. Picked up that deflected effort early doors, and maybe they scored a bit too early because they went into their shell a little bit, invited Celtic on. Celtic went driving forward. There's complaints for a free kick here for Celtic. It's not going to be given for free. It's going to have to actually blow up here, though, for a head injury. It was Arne Engels again, who's gone down a couple of times with head injuries. He just went in on the challenge from Barron. As Barron, Barron's left his arm in there. That potentially could have been that should be a yellow card, actually. Barron's swung his arm in, and he's gone really aggressively on Arne Engels and elbowed him in the back of the head. Barron being a little bit of a naughty boy there, but nevertheless, Rangers do continue. But as I'm saying, they've had moments, Rangers, but when they've had these moments, they haven't found the goals. And they got that singular goal from Mikey Moore, and Celtic realised that, took the game to Rangers, with a couple of moments of magic from Dyson Maida to separate the two sides. That's where there's been the difference in this contest, and will give Celtic all 3 points, you feel, unless Rangers can produce something that's a real miracle in the last few moments of this contest. So they do have a free kick here just on the halfway line. Rio Hatete is going to pick up a yellow card if he's not careful here, because he's just standing in the way of things, and there is a yellow card. That is my stupid yellow card really to get from Rio Hatete. He's just standing in the way of where the free kick is going to be taken, and he just blocks it. He's 2 yards out, and it's the most simplest of yellow cards in the world for Nick Walsh to go and dish out, as Rangers do move forward here on this left-hand side. Roman's going towards the byline, complaints for a free kick, not going to be given here, just on the edge of the penalty area. Has been picked up here instead on this right-hand flank with Kelechi Iheanacho. Little setback, and here is Rio Hatete, who can come driving forward. Mikey Moore is having to do his defensive work. Hatete now just holding up the field of play quite nicely, going backwards instead towards where Tony Ralston is, and Celtic are quite happy to keep the ball. Speak too soon. There is commentator's curse once again striking, as McGregor just losing his footing there for the moment, but Celtic back in possession eventually after Chimiti does give it away, as immediately Sinislow is quite happy to pump this ball forward. Eyes towards the forfeiture of how much stoppage time at the conclusion of another Old Firm chapter here with Gassama once again on this right hand side. Gassama trying to drive forward, feels he has been fouled, and it's a free kick in a really dangerous position after the challenge that did come in the end from Marcelo Surici. It will be only 4 minutes of stoppage time. I'm quite surprised about that from the officials. Just seen that going up there from the 4 officials board. There's a few confused faces as well after Matthew McDermott did dish out the 4 minutes. I would have expected at least 6. We've had plenty of yellow cards in this game. A few delays, nevertheless, only 4 minutes, and we're already ticking over 1 here, and there's a coming together inside of the penalty area. Austin Trusty feels he has been fouled there from the step. He felt like his foot was stepped on there by Giga. Nevertheless, resulting free kick ready to be whipped in towards that penalty area from Barron. And Sinislow is quite keen to potentially come and gather this ball. Barron's ball does come in towards the penalty area, not the best of deliveries. Giga does pick up the loose ball over towards this left-hand side. The centre half winning the corner, and potentially it won't be the one last throw of the dice just yet, but one of the last few throws of the dice, and they need to try and make everything count here. Do Danny Roll and his side. If they get a goal here now, we're going to have a really nervy 2 minutes in Celtic Park. Desperate to try and see this result out, and will be a huge 3 points for Celtic's season. They've still got that 2-goal advantage. Rangers desperately trying to find themselves a goal. Barron to whip this ball in towards that penalty area. It's a good delivery as well. Headed away momentarily as McGregor is there to thump it away to the roars of the Celtic Park crowd. Picked up here on this left-hand side here by Mikey Moore. Has to go back towards Jack Butland. And Kelechi Iheanacho sprinting towards Butland. Butland instead goes back towards Mikey Moore. Moore needs to be careful here not to give away possession. Feels he has been fouled here, does Mikey Moore. Good play over here by Asgard, just fending off the oncoming challengers coming his way. The Norwegian driving forward, going past Maida 2-3 times. Eventually rolling on towards this right-hand side where Gassama can try and take over. Here is Chimiti towards the penalty area. Now wins another corner for Rangers on this right-hand side. Again, it's all Rangers pressure, to no surprise at the conclusion of this contest as Arne Engels screams towards his players, keep your heads, keep focus, as Romans is coming over to take this resulting corner for Rangers. It's going to be the in-swinging delivery of the Belgian in towards that penalty area as Gigas made his way forward. Emmanuel Fernandez towards the far post. Romans' ball does come in towards that looping near post delivery. Headed away by Scales. Picked up here by Barron once more. Romans whipping one in towards that far post once again. Keeper hasn't come off the crossbar, and eventually Sinislow can fall on it. It's not going to be Rangers' day, and Miavoski can feel it. Romans whipped it in, and it was met there by Miavoski. It's a great header as well, and a little ricochet eventually off of Sterling. Does go in towards the hands of Sinislow. I mean, it's so unlucky there from Miavoski. It's the underside of the crossbar, and he's so unlucky there for the North Macedonian. Nevertheless, minute to go. Rangers again looking to try and form one last attack. Celtic with everybody behind the ball as Barron tries to pump this ball forward on this right-hand side. Taken down here by Romans. Romans feels he has been fouled. He goes down holding his face, and it does result in a So Rangers throwing on this right-hand side. Romans is in a real bit of discomfort here, just feeding his face. They're telling him basically to get back towards a prone position. I think his nose is bleeding over towards that side. Little coming together between him and I tell you what, it's the way that Sarici has gone in. He's just thrown his arm out. I think he's just clipped his eye actually. Nevertheless, play does continue. Dujon Sterling trying to whip this ball towards that penalty area, brought down here by Asgard, as now there needs to be a little bit careful here. There's the referee nearly getting himself involved once more. Oh, it's a really late challenge once again. Surely a yellow card has to be dished out for that one. Oncoming challenge that was from Tenecki, a good 30-35 yards out centre of the pitch. Opportunity for Barron just to chip one in towards that penalty area. We've already ticked over in towards the 95th minute. I think this is going to be the last chance of the game for Rangers. They need 2 goals. I think they're only going to get 1 chance here with Barron as he looks to try and reduce that deficit down to 1 goal. To whip one in towards this penalty area now from the Scotsman. Barron's ball in towards that far post, nearly met there by Trusty. It's gone all the way through, and Celtic have done enough for Martin O'Neill and his side. There's a little bit of confusion here. Referee's gone to blow the final whistle. There's a couple of Celtic players already started to celebrate and flood on towards the pitch here. I think by the time that Sinnerslow does pump this ball forward, it will be Celtic picking up all 3 points and marching on towards just 1 point away from the Scottish Premiership. They go 1 point behind Hearts. There is full time. The celebrations can finally begin after that little moment of hesitation. Celtic 3, Rangers 1. What a fabulously entertaining game that really proved to be. And it is Dyson Maida, the hero, here at Celtic Park today. His 2 goals were enough to give Celtic all 3 points and close in on Hearts and what was a fabulously entertaining game of football. Let me quickly run you through what happened in this contest, just to remind you as well with how many yellow cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, we had 5, 6 there, 7, 8 yellow cards as well. It wouldn't be an old firm with a few yellow cards, 8 yellow cards in the end. It was Mikey Moore that got the scoring underway in the contest, pouncing on the little bit of a ricochet from Yusuf Chimiti's strike, and was able to give Rangers the advantage in this game. Then it was Hunyun Yang who was able to get Celtic back on level terms on minute 23. Ball played in from Arne Engels on towards the penalty spot. Lovely finish there by the South Korean to make it 1-0, and that's where we headed in towards the break. Then it was Dyson Maida who then came of age, didn't he? Ball played into him initially for the first goal. Lovely finish on his left foot, past the helpless Jack Butland. Minute 53, 2-1. Then 4 minutes later, the goal that will be replayed for absolutely ages. The bicycle kick. Absolutely incredible goal. Goal of the season from the Japanese, past the helpless Jack Butland once again to make it Celtic 3, Rangers 1. A few flare points throughout the game, with yellow cards being dished out. Potentially a red card should have been given to Alistair Johnston as well. The Canadian could potentially deem himself a lucky boy, and Miavoski just hitting the crossbar at the very end as well. But nevertheless, let's provide you with the contest. The Rangers on the context. Rangers on 69 points. They are out of the SPL contention this season. Celtic are now 1 point behind Hearts and have a 3 worse goal difference. Celtic, who face Motherwell in their next game, have to win. Hearts, who face Falkirk in their next game, have to win. We head all the way to the final game of the season, where Celtic face Hearts in a straight shootout for the SPL title. Do you have enjoyed coverage of this old firm? I certainly have enjoyed the absolute contest in front of me. It's been absolutely thoroughly entertaining for this one. Full time then here at Celtic Park. Celtic all 3 points, goal of the season as well, and they've got one over their got one over their rivals once again. Full time then, Celtic 3, Rangers 1.